tassa bhagavato arahato sammāsambuddhasa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sammāsambuddhasa. We bring ourselves to the one seat, finding the great trunk of the spine, sending the roots down and the branches up. Relaxing through all the limbs, all the leaves, all the tendrils of ourself, through all the musculature, the connective tissue, and the pulses of energy that move the body, just softening, settling, arriving. One of the beauties of awareness practice is that you can just turn it on, and it's already there. What is it to turn our attention, to turn our conscious knowing to the quality of being aware? Awareness is something like the answer to the question, what is happening right now that I have contact with, that I know directly, or that is being known directly? A beautiful doorway for open awareness is the field of sounds. So you may come into the field of sounds. There's a perception layer where we know what we're hearing, and there's a label to things. I can hear frog song, raindrops, a distant fan, creaking of the house, my own breath. What can you hear? You notice the field of sound and the way that each sound can be met with its name. And then you might drop down. It's like relaxing through the mental layer, relax through the labeling layer, to more the experience of sounds just appearing, disappearing, without needing labels. And here the label, if there was any, would just be hearing. Of course, you still know what the sounds are, mostly. But you don't have to say the word to yourself. And as you're aware in the field of sound, you can either rest with a wide, soft awareness, so that all the different sounds just appear and disappear themselves like individual birds, but you're just taking in the whole sky. Or you can notice that there's a specific focused attention that jumps from one sound to another when it begins or becomes prominent. So just notice how your attention naturally moves between the sounds. And you could stay with just the field of sound, or you could expand it toward including all the senses. A good next one to include is physical sensation. Which can encompass smells and tastes, and energy, even mood. So then there's a field of sensation. And there's sounds passing through that field, being known. And again, here you can hold or relax into a broad, undirected awareness, like seeing the whole sky without focusing on any one part. Or you can notice that naturally attention moves from one thing arising, one phenomena, one experience, one sense, to another. Seeing directly whatever's most prominent, whatever's calling out for attention. And again, you can be in the naming layer, where you identify sensations as they arise. Ache, buzzing, pulsing, heavy, light, along with the specific sounds, whatever they are. Or you could rest into a non-naming, just aware of the field of sensation. Practicing in this way, you don't need to try to concentrate. Because we just make the mind or the heart the next part of what we're aware of. Sounds appear and disappear, sensations appear and disappear. Thoughts and feeling energies appear and disappear. The challenge really is that with thoughts, they only really disappear if you actually are aware of them. And so there has to be some shift where we stay awake to the arising of thinking. When we say, let thoughts come and go on their own, what we mean is be aware of them as they arise and don't get lost in their story. Because if we get lost in the story, we're giving energy to the continuing of that story. We're giving energy to the thinking process. And so we're not actually letting it go. We get hooked by it. We hold on to it, not intentionally. So our challenge is to see thought as it arises and know it as thinking immediately. And rest back into the space of open, uncaptured attention. So our effort is directed towards staying alert, awake enough to not be captured. It's useful in Dharma practice, in meditation, to think of thoughts as being a kind of sense organ, as if we're hearing thoughts the same way we hear the frog song or the distant traffic, sounds appearing and disappearing on their own. Thought is a little like this. The thoughts certainly appear seemingly on their own. They're responding to a momentum that we can't always feel. Patterns in the heart. But thoughts are not like sounds in the way that they continue once they've started. Because for a thought to continue, we have to give it attention, energy, usually unconsciously, but we're interested in it. It's compelling, pulls energy. And so thinking past the first arisings of thought as they bubble up out of the karmic soup, out of the conditions set by the past. Once they've bubbled up and we continue thinking them, there's a kind of doing. We are engaging with the content, the story, the narrative, the voice. That's what we mean by the mind wandering. It's not just thoughts arising like sounds, but it's an impulse arising more like movement. It's more like being unable to stop talking, or fidgeting, or doing something with our hands. It's habitual, but still intentional. How do we set that down? Part of how we set down wandering thought is to become more aware of its complexity, the qualities that are there, and particularly the wanting, the doing, the impulse. Next time the mind takes up a thought and there's some energy there, let it play out for a bit, but see what other qualities are there. See if you're interested in it. If there's a kind of energy of just wanting to work something out or get to the end of the paragraph or describe something to yourself. See if there's a kind of doing there. And so we can understand in awareness practice that we are noticing whatever's happening. But in meditation particularly, we add in this quality of not doing. We really want to just observe the different qualities and sensations as they arise. So if I find myself doing something, pursuing a thought, just become aware of the energy of doing. And if there's any grasping there, wanting to do something with this thought. And if there's wanting and doing, then we just want to know that with a clear awareness. And often when we do, because we also have the intention to settle the heart, the mind, to rest deeper into awareness rather than doing, the doing drops away. So we'll practice like this in silence for a bit. Just keep dropping back into an open, clear awareness, knowing all the energies as they arise, letting go of doing and grasping. And if we can't let go of them, then we just know them clearly for what they are as they play out in the heart. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sammāsambuddhasa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sammāsambuddhasa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sammāsambuddhasa.